MostDanger.com, where no matter your political persuasion, everybody can laugh at a little wiener joke.
Saw the flags, Japanese,
But not to the buffet table. Please pay attention so you don't become a sheep. It was my final rebellious act against my father. Proving myself to be my own person.
Okay. The next question is, are there any historical events that have shaped you into the person that you are today?
Any historical thing?
Historical events
During my lifetime or during the history of man?
during your lifetime.
Sure. The Iranian hostage crisis in 79, 80, when Jimmy Carter was president before Ronald Reagan got elected. The Oliver North trial for Iran-Contra. Being in Guam on the 12th of September when the 3 buildings fell in New York City. See, some stuff happened like 20 days before I was born, like the Kent State shootings at the college in Ohio. But
the Columbine?
Not Columbine, no. Kent State in Ohio.
Oh, yes.
All right, that happened on May 6th. It was like 20 days before I was born. I compare that kind of to the school shootings nowadays, but the only difference being is that back in 1970, there were people in the military. A lot of them were draftees and not volunteers. And every time when people push for liberty, for more freedom, for less government, they're provided these distractions. I call them distractions. These events occur that people get hurt, people die. No denying that. But I see them as distractions from the real point where every time people push for their natural rights that come from their creator, they're subject to punishment one way or the other in order to allow the government to perpetuate ways that they're denied those freedoms. It goes back to when you ask government for anything, you always lose.
Yeah. Okay. How do you think that you've changed from being in the Navy, being discharged, and where you are today?
When I was in the Navy, I had a lot of different jobs. I ran the navigation operations division on a nuclear-powered submarine. I was named Sailor of the Year on a nuclear-powered submarine. I did a recruiting tour afterwards, and then I finished out my career in Groton, Connecticut when I was supposed to go back to another submarine before I was physically disqualified. And I managed about between 150 and 300 people a day, depending on what time of year it was, that were getting either processed out or also medically unfit to be on submarines. So I had to really change my aspect on how I looked at things. When I was discharged from the Navy, I was employed as an instructor for the Army, and that was really different because everything I did, I cared. It was where a lot of folks, it seemed like in the Army, and so I cared because in a submarine, you don't have failure rates. Failure rates mean you could die. In the Army, failure rates are like friction points is what they call them. And they're just opportunities for business to be done. And when you're managing these friction points for business, but you're doing it in combat zones, I have a problem. Since I've no longer worked there and I volunteered as a bartender at the American Legion, and I was a student before I had a seizure, and the doctor told me to take it easy. I think it was because I was starting to see things the way that they really are instead of the way that they were presented to me. And I just told to take it easy, and now I just take it easy and relax and exercise more. I have time for that, and I'm like 70 pounds lighter, and my blood type's no longer O positive gravy, and I'm more interested in taking care of my physical being so that I can live for 20 years after I retired from the Navy so I can get that pension check that long. So that's the whole plan, right? Give 20 years, get paid for 40.
Okay. The next question is, how has your website negatively and positively impacted your life?
How is what?
Your website, .com, positively and impacted you.
How has the carlosdanger.com positively or negatively impacted me? Positively, Correct. I've been able to interact with different people around the world who share similar ideas that I have, and also folks who share totally opposite ideas that I have. And I'm not. I mean, there's a difference between a confrontational argument and a constructive argument.
Yeah.
And constructive arguments are collaborations of ideas. And that's really what I see a lot of things is as collaborations of ideas. Because, like I said before, there's one thing that I know. I don't know everything. But I'm willing to learn.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to learn, you know. So that's a positive. And negatively, it gets hacked all the time. And it's only because I ask questions that everybody should have the answers to. A lot of people are either too afraid to answer the questions or ignorant of the questions. If they're ignorant of the questions, then I'm here to help. But if they're going to argue and deny that those questions need to be asked, at that point now they're stupid. It's stupidity, right? The difference between ignorance and stupidity. And
Yep.
I really don't have a lot of time for stupid people that are going to argue confrontationally, not constructively.
Yeah. Okay. And we are now moving up to future questions.
Future questions? Uh-oh.
Future, yeah.
Uh-oh. Like 10 minutes?
So the first one, what?
Like 10 minutes from now?
No.
Oh.
So the first one is, how do you want your life to be in 1 year from now?
How many years from now?
1.
1? I see relocation in my future.
Okay. Why?
My mother needs some help around the house, maintaining it, like handyman stuff. And I may not have the huge financial resources to accomplish everything she needs done. However, I do have the time to assist it in getting done. So the one thing I have a lot of, and I earned, is my time.
Yeah.
Right? So if I can invest that properly in repaying back somebody that helped me out growing up, then I think that's a proper way of doing things.
Okay. The next question is, do you have any habits now that will affect you?
Yep. I got like one more cigarette left and I'm quitting.
Okay.
And habits, or you say hobbies?
Habit.
Habits, yeah, smoking's the one that takes away your time.
Any positive habits?
Positive things? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't plan on giving up riding a bicycle. That exercise
Can you say that
alone,
again?
I don't plan on giving up riding a bicycle.
Okay.
And that's just the positive health effects from that. I mean, I ain't racing around town or nothing like that, but I'm getting out and I'm getting a couple exercise riding, 2, 3, 5, 10, 20 miles, depending on how I feel.